And welcome to another episode of The Bloom Show, brought to you by Above All Flowers and New Bloom Solutions. I am your host, but not really your host today, because we do have a special guest host, and that is Andy Arthur from Kennicott Brothers, and also aka Sourced by Drew. Andy, Arthur, Andrew, whatever you want to call him. He's that neighborhood guy that we all love to watch on Instagram and social media. So super excited to have him as a guest host. We hung out a little bit at Jet Fresh's for Lovin', and it was a lot of fun. And we got along very well, and I thought it would be fun to bring him on. And before I get to who the guest is today, I do want to mention what the Bloom Show is all about. And the Bloom Show's its intention is to help the floral industry innovate, connect, and bloom through building community, networking opportunities, and sharing information cross-sector. So this show is for, if you're a wholesaler, it's for you. It's also for your customers. If you're a distributor, it's for you, but it's also for your customers. The more information we have cross-sector, the more we're equipped to make the right decisions. And that was the vision of this show. So this show is for the flower industry, by the flower industry. So Andy decided to invite Mr. Martin Otten onto the show, which is a sales manager at Rosa Flora. And the reason why is not only because they have amazing products, was because Andy wanted to highlight how innovative they are. And this show, again, Innovate, Connected, Bloom. So it's important to focus on someone that is an innovator, that has crossed different boundaries and created different sectors and almost markets themselves. And it's been very impressive, different collaborations they've done. So I was excited about this idea. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Andy Arthur and Martin Otten. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe, like, and press the little alert key. Enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you, Sahid. Andy, Source for E-commerce, Drew. You've probably seen me on Instagram, or one of my relatives. Some weeks we have mom, some weeks we have dads. We've had crazy redneck cousins pop by. But when Sahid asked me to pick a guest, I remembered a visit that I'd had to Rosa Flora. We were just talking about it maybe 5-6 years ago, and Martin is so energetic, and I really enjoyed the visit. And my daughter talked about him a lot on the way home, and he really made an impression. So that's why I wanted to ask you on the show today. But to get started, Martin, I've known your product since the 90s, but can you take us back to the beginning? When did Rosa Flora come into existence?
So Rosa Flora started in 78. So we're actually celebrating 45 years this year. So that's a long history. Otto came to Canada from Holland in 77. And a year later, he started his own greenhouse operation here. So that's our history, or when we started.
That's amazing. I didn't realize it was, I suppose I should have known 40 years ago was the last time I was there, and now 45. Wow.
Yeah.
So how many different crops are you growing these days? And how many acres, hectares of each?
So we have about around 50 acres of greenhouse that we run. About 25 of it is Gerber and mini Gerber, large and mini Gerber together. We also grow some gerondos, or we call them Ger palms, because they come from a few different suppliers. And then we have about 11, 12 acres of Lysianthus, and then another basically 13, 14 acres of snaps. So, yeah.
Oh, I got to do a quick shout out. I see Jimmy the Tulip from Jet Fresh is saying hi here. So, hey, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
And there's Steph. Hey, Steph. We're getting all kinds of people popping in now.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, how do the crops now, how do they differ from what you guys originally started growing?
So we started growing roses, tea roses actually at the time. That was the hybrid tea roses back in the 70s. And then we moved to sweethearts. We added the sweethearts to it, which continued on a little longer than the roses did. And then Alstroemeria. So all three of those crops are no longer grown at Rosa Flora. We've adapted to market changes. So, and then we started on snaps. So that would be the first time that we've seen snaps would have been in the later in the 80s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I had somebody ask me for sweetheart roses last week, and I can't tell you the last time anybody had asked for a sweetheart. I mean, it just shows how much our business has evolved.
Yeah.
It's,
So
you probably were growing thousands back then.
yeah. Sweetheart roses. We pulled the last out about 8-9 years ago, and I was just commenting to one of our sales team that I still have one of the plants from 8 years ago at my house.
No
and
kidding.
it's still alive and doing well. So it's kind of really interesting that a plant like that can last. So we would have pulled it out at probably 6 or 7 years old. So that plant would be 15, 16 years old and still producing sweethearts every single spring. So
Which variety did you take home?
Eskimo.
Oh, nice. Of course,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the one. So really neat. So yeah.
So, I mean, I know because I've been there that Rosa Flora has just some amazing technology that you brought on board when you, after the fire and you had to completely rebuild everything. Can you kind of touch on that for the people that aren't familiar with it?
Sure. So for energy, a lot of our heat is made in a big biomass boiler, which basically grabs old wood that you would use in construction or that's leftover wood. And we would use that as our source of fuel. So instead of it going to a landfill site, we're actually taking that and building a carbon neutral actual heat system because it's a renewable energy. So we're grabbing that wood, using that for our heat. So that's one of the things that we do. The other thing we do is we run generators, which gives us both heat and power to run lights in the wintertime to be able to give you more be able to build a more consistent availability of flowers. So lights help a lot. They're still not as powerful as the sun. The sun is still the most important piece of energy that we use. On a cold winter day, the sun, we have thermal acrylic, which is the glass or the clear coating on the top of the greenhouse. So it's a thermal, so it's two pieces on top of each other. And that there will allow the sunlight in and try to keep the cold out, but with that we can utilize a lot of the heat and light energy. On a cold winter day when it's minus 10 degrees, our heat system is hardly working if it's sunny.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If it's not sunny, it's working. So this shows you the power of nature.
And you have a wind turbine as well, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So that's also using wind as part of our energy. Right. So, and the other thing that is big now is all of our water goes through a complete wetland system. So none of the water that comes off the roof of the greenhouse would actually go into any streams or anything like that. It will go into our big holding ponds. And from there, that will serve for us as our source of water for the year. Also, any waters that are not used by the plants will go back into specific ponds and be recycled through, repurified, and then used again for water. So
that's amazing. Now, are you still with the wind turbine? Are you still selling electricity back to like St. Catharines, or are you pretty much utilizing everything now?
So, in the wind turbine will carry our base load.
Okay.
So it's not designed specifically to bring back, but there will be times when energy is expensive that we'll be able to actually run our generators and sell it back to the grid to help the grid out in times of extreme heat where there's lots of air conditioners running and things like that would use up that power. So we still can help this grid by supplying and then still utilizing the heat for ourselves. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned what you use, the wood you get for the steam, or where does that come from?
So the wood could come from all over the place. So a lot of times it would come from Toronto area, like more in the cities. That any landfill site that would have a wood bin that would be used to for people to dump their waste woods in, that could come our way. So it could be old skids, it could be construction material, it could be a number of different things that we would get.
Wow. So there's just all kinds of recycling and green friendly going on at your location.
Absolutely. one of the other real green things that we do is, as opposed to spraying heavy pest controls and stuff like that, we use good bugs to control our bad bugs and bring the eco level of our bugs down to a manageable level that does not affect our crop, as opposed to spraying our crops, doing damage to the bugs, killing bugs, affecting people's health, and at the same time affecting our plant growth. So those are some different things that we do to really pull through and care about the environment as we do that.
Well, okay, I got to ask, what's a good bug?
So we would have, I don't know the names of them all, but we would have a bug that we would bring in to take care of a whitefly. So
okay.
instead of having whitefly in our flowers, we'll actually bring in a bug that will actually manage that. So, and sometimes, there's all kinds of different bugs that we would use for a different pest that we would be encountering at that time. So
that's really interesting. I knew about it a little, but not to that extent. Yeah. So I got to ask you a crazy question. Are you a plant, a cat, or a dog guy?
Me? So I would say that I'm actually in heart, I'm a wood guy, but business is business, and flowers I love. So I actually I always said when I started in the wood industry and I came to the flower industry, and my only reason was I had 4 daughters, and there was no sense staying in the wood industry. I had to get into the flower industry to take care of those daughters. So
so is that the come full circle you plan to when you get out of flowers to go back to wood?
No, I don't think I would go back to wood. I definitely love the flower industry. It is a very exciting and changing industry, and there's always something new. And I wouldn't trade that to go back to wood in that regard.
Oh, I see. There's the flower wizard David saying hi now.
No, it's flowers is very interesting. It's a very quick paced industry, and it's never boring. So. You're always learning, you're always enhancing. If we look at, the stems we would have picked per square meter 30 years ago and the stems we pick per square meter now, it's a totally different game. And it's how do you use science and how do you use all these different pieces of energy, and not always just energy, but different pieces of chemicals that you're feeding the flowers, all the different things, the way you pest control. All those are things that help you to produce more per square meter. So,
one of the things that really stuck with me when I was there the last time was the snap greenhouses, where they're harvesting the snaps, putting them on the rolling trolleys through the greenhouse, and then they go underground. Do you still have that? And they go underground up to the processing area?
Yeah. So we actually process in the greenhouse now. We lost that system in our fire, but now we still have the belt that brings it right from the back of the greenhouse right to the front, and it doesn't go back underneath the tunnel, but it will actually be processed right at the aisle of the greenhouse at that point. So yeah, that was a really neat system, and it does it's a great labor saver, right? And you're not running past the flower damaging them because you're just picking right in front of you and putting it on a belt. So, yeah.
So about how many employees does Rosa Flora have now?
I would think we have close to 200, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are you using? What means are you using these days to attract new employees, or do you have a pretty solid core?
We have a pretty solid core. Drivers is always a little bit of a harder thing to get, but right now we have a pretty solid core of employees, so we're pretty happy with that. It's been good. So
I feel like your sales staff has been. There's been so little change. I think back years, and a lot of those people are still there.
Yeah. We have a smaller sales staff than we did before, but we have a great sales staff, and we use it once again using technology, using web ordering, using different things like that. Trying to make simple processes as opposed to difficult ones. Our computer system, we can punch in an order faster than somebody can give it to us. So those are things that just help you to be efficient. And, we're not dealing with it twice. I'm not writing it down and then punching it in. It's in the system. It's ready to go. Orders, inventories are confirmed right on the spot. And those are very key to making that work. So.
Yeah, I love the web shop. I use that all the time. And I love that you get a quick confirmation of what's definitely confirmed, and then you're constantly updated as to the balance of the product that you're waiting on.
Yeah.
I see somebody just jumped in here and said, how was Mother's Day season this year for you, and any difficulties you ran into? I'll let you answer that one, Martin.
So Mother's Day was well. Mother's Day went well. The market was good. And it was really good to see the week after Mother's Day is really the true tell of how Mother's Day was, because everybody was ordering. And that means that people were clean and that they were able to work through all the product that they got. So that Mother's Day went well. Always a challenge. There's always something that comes a wee little bit earlier, a wee little bit later than what you think. And once again, the whole weather dependence on what's the weather doing and how is that affecting my crop, and how do I use the different controls that we have in our hands as a grower to make that timing perfect. So,
well, and I felt, from my standpoint, you did a great job. I mean, I didn't come short on anything that I pre-booked. Everything was great. Everything came through like I expected. We had a solid holiday here as well. And we were actually, our number 2 salesperson was out for health reasons. And, the whole crew here stepped up, and it was crazy, and followed right back up on Monday the same way. But so somebody's asking, what was your top seller? Would it be safe to say snaps?
I would think that, Snaps and Lizzie, we were both really sold right out of. And that's a crop line. Obviously, we build ratios on things like Snaps and Lizzie's to make the holiday work, and still white would be the strongest color in that regard. So if I would have one specific item that was the top seller, it'd be white Snaps, which is normal every week. So we build those ratios to reflect that. So that works very, very well. And every year it's a little bit different. So this year we had a lot of white, and the market was slightly softer in white than some of the other years. So you can see the boldness of color coming out, which, we're going to have to just make some slight adjustments to for next year, because I think that you can see the market changing, that demand for boldness is coming.
Well, and I love the fact that you're cropping the brown Lizzie Anthus now, not just for fall, but I mean, it's supposed to start up in a week or two now. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. We just picked our first ones this past week, so we're actually right on track to see that come through. So that will be that's always an exciting one. It's definitely a little harder to grow, so it's a little more challenging. But we do have it planned right to after American Thanksgiving. We will have brown available.
Wow, that's great.
We'd love to do it year round, but we're waiting for the right product to grow with the light conditions and stuff that we carry in December, January, February. We can't continue to grow the same variety that we grow now. So in something like Lizzie Anthus and Snaps, we change from spring varieties to summer varieties to back to spring or fall varieties, back to winter varieties. So there's a whole cycle of different white snaps that we grow or yellow snaps that we grow throughout the year in order to be able to carry the best quality and the and a good consistent availability.
I see the Fern just popped in here and said, "Woohoo! Commerce Drew and Martin from Rosa Flora." He was just up to visit you not too long ago, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he does come and visit. And that's really nice, because the real experience is, like, it's easy for me to talk to you, but to actually come up here, and anybody that's in the flower industry, I would gladly have you come by and stop by. I got a florist coming next week to just come and visit me, and I'll gladly take the time, show you around, show you what it's about, show you how a plant grows, and see the process of how it works.
Awesome. And Fern's asking where his brown Lizzie is, but Fern, go away. I get it first. We've been talking about all this new technology. are you an 8-track, a CD, cassette, or a vinyl guy, or are you into streaming?
So I would say I probably grew up with the 8-track type world. I think somewhere in there. So,
what are you using nowadays?
oh no, now I'm streaming.
Streaming, okay.
Yeah. So
I've rolled back into vinyl, and I actually convinced both of my older sons to go that route.
oh wow.
So yeah, it comes full circle, right? All those albums I gave away to Goodwill 20 years ago, now I wish I'd have kept them.
Even music in a lot of ways kind of does a cycle, right? So,
right.
And you actually see that in the flower industry as well. Like the flower industry does a cycle. Like it's incredible how, something that you would have thought, like some of my ratios as I change them year over year, and I'm going, I think I did that 15 or 18 years ago. I brought that number back up, right? And you just see that how the markets and life just goes in a cycle.
Well, and I'm happy to see the bold colors because obviously I'm all about bold colors, right? So
I had to find my best Andy shirt I could find.
Oh, you know that part, huh? When I first started doing the videos, people talked more about what I was wearing than the flowers, and I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, I'm showing all these great colors and flowers and stuff. Why do you care about my shirts? So, are there any plans for expansions or collaborations in the future at Rosa Flora?
So Rosa Flora, we as a company, we haven't really collaborated. It's always been owned by Otto, and then now his daughter Ariel and her husband Ralph are the owners. So it's been very much a family business, always. We finished our last edition in 2020. So that's when we added 5 more acres of snaps on. I don't have any thing that says the next step is coming at this point, but as demands and as we continue to grow good product, and we see that demand increase, those are definitely options that we look at. One of the challenges that we always challenge ourselves with is, how do I take more out of the same square meters? So that's always, if we can do that first, that's always a better move. So.
All right, so I got to ask. I mean, you're up there in Canada. Are you a hockey night in Canada guy, or are you a baseball guy? What are we rooting for over there?
So I do watch Hockey Night in Canada occasionally. I'm not a real sports fan as such. I do play hockey more as a hobby than I'm not by far close to any of those guys. But yeah. So I would say that if anything, it would be hockey over top of baseball. And I'll watch some of the games and kind of keep up with the scores and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So.
I love Hockey Night in Canada, but it's just not the same without Don Cherry.
I
guess he could have been my idol, right? The way he dressed, the way I dress.
Yep. You've learned a few things from him, I guess, Andy.
There you go. There's a lot of people that aren't going to get that reference at all. Only you Midwesterners are going to get that one.
That's right. So, yeah.
Well, what's just to go out on an interesting note, what's an interesting fact about you that we probably wouldn't know?
Oh, about me personally, I'm going to celebrate 25 years at Rosa Flora this year. So
no way.
It's exciting. It's been an exciting journey. I've definitely enjoyed it here. Got a great team to work with. Got great owners to work with. So yeah, that's probably something that is interesting, is different. So
did you get a parking space with that?
No, I didn't.
There's got to be a perk of some kind, right?
So most of the time I come up early in the morning that I do get to choose my parking space.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I can't believe how time is flying by already.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to coming up to see you, see how things have changed in the last 5-6 years, sometime over the next month or so.
Yeah.
It's I'm anxious to see the team. See Mark and I mean, there's so many people that I've known for so long there. And Jay, I mean, I haven't met Jay yet, and I've been dealing with him for 3-4 years now.
Yeah. His plan is to So we were really restricted, and that's like some of the marketing challenges and visiting challenges, right? Like we were really restricted in the last 3 years of our ability to get out and travel, and we're definitely picking that up again. And we want to be, visiting all the different wholesalers, et cetera, and making sure that we are seeing and understanding, and building partnerships with our customers. So.
And seeing where all those yellow buckets are.
It's a trademark.
One of my daughter's favorite hats is her yellow bucket hat that the guys at Jet Fresh sent her.
Yeah, they're good ones. So yeah.
I had a great picture of her standing in line in front of IKEA with her yellow bucket hat on.
Yeah. That's cool.
So here's a quick funny story to wrap this up. When I came to visit you, so I had my young daughter with me, and as we were leaving, someone gave her a little bunch of miniature Gerbras, and I should have known better. I've been doing this long enough. I should have known better. She took them with her. She had them laying on the back seat in the car with her, and we get to customs, and the guy was having a bad day, and he pulled us over for inspection because I didn't claim that 10 stems of miniature Gerber daisies. They put us like in the little plexiglass room and everything while they tore the car apart. I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And again, we should know. I should have known better.
Yeah. Well, we've been very, very thankful. The American government has been very good to us, and we've had very little issues crossing the border. Mind you, everything we do ship is Canadian grown, so it does make that quite a bit easier as far as that goes. But it's been easy there. It's been well getting across the border for sure. So.
Well, and I can't even remember the last time you guys weren't on time. I mean, your drivers are always here before we open.
Yeah. We got goals, and we want to keep those goals. We want to make sure that service that way is very important. You guys are ready to use it next morning, and that's what you want. So.
Well, and I love the way the trucks are. I guess it's wrapped nowadays with the logos and the Gerbs on the side and everything. It just, you see one of those coming down the freeway, you don't miss it. How many trucks do you have now?
We got around 30 trucks. So.
Wow.
Yeah. A few tractor trailers and quite a few straight trucks. That's what we do a lot with. So, and the main reason for that is customer service, getting to everybody's door before as many people as possible before your morning rush. So, yeah.
Well, no wonder you're looking for drivers.
Yeah.
Technology to keep 30 trucks on the road. I mean,
right.
we struggle to keep 3.
There you go. No, it's good. So. And you know what? Consistency of service is key to some of that.
How far are you delivering now?
Well, we go down into Texas, into Denver, into Florida. So, and then basically kind of fill in the spots in between there. So,
how far west? Like Chicago, past Chicago?
Yeah, Denver, Colorado.
Okay. Wow.
So that's as far west as we go, and then we go east right to the shore, right to Boston and that side.
So those trucks that are going all the way out to Colorado, are they backfilling to come back?
We do a loop. Our goal is always to do a loop. So partway back, we're already still unloading. So we make it 3/4 of the way back before we actually are done unloading. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that's got to be a bit of a hike for those guys.
That's a little travel for sure. We do. And one of the things with our trucks is we do all teams. So the truck doesn't stop. We continue to run until the truck is empty, and then it comes home. So.
Well, we usually see the team that comes in on Friday. We usually see them, and I feel like it's been the same guys forever. Everybody in here knows them. They all talk with them. And
yeah. Well, you know what? You got to take care of your employees, right? That's
right.
To keeping your company performing well, right? So. People matter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. Like I said, I know we haven't seen each other in a long time. We don't really talk as much because I deal with Jay all the time, but I really enjoyed this last half hour with you. And I can't believe it's done already.
I know.
It's like, where'd the time go? I was worried if we were gonna be able to fill it up.
Oh no! When you start talking, Andy, it's all good, right? You're a good salesperson. You just keep on moving. So
Well, you can see my wall of fame back here. We have all the guests and whatnot, and there is there's a Yellow Bucket Club sticker up here.
Oh, there it is.
So yeah, everybody's represented.
There we go. No, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Well,
I'd like to thank you, Andy, for, I mean, we talk about marketing and stuff like that. You're a great part of our marketing team.
well, thank you.
People aware, even being on the front with your customers, talking about, different products and, selling Rosa Flora product to them and those kind of things. We definitely appreciate the work you do in that regard.
Well, and I always try, if there's something I'm showing in my weekly video, I try to tag you guys up in it, and I want everybody to get the credit where credit is due. The Gerber banners you guys sent out for Gerber a month in March, those were great. We had that hanging in the cooler over your Gerberas. Everybody saw it. Now it's hanging in my office. Well, the walls. That's right. Yeah, well, that's right. Because I don't think anybody's been down since we expanded our cooler.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we just last year we almost doubled the size of the cooler here. So you got to send Jay down. We got to meet this guy.
It's in my plans. It's in the plans. So he'll be there soon. So yeah, for sure. So
what's it like in Canada today? It's like almost 70 something here.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. It's I guess.
Oh, you're gonna do Celsius, aren't you?
It's around 70 as well. It's a little hazy.
Okay.
But it's warm, so it's nice weather, beautiful weather. So we always like the power of the sun. That's what we always fight for. So we'd rather have sun than heat. We can control the heat. We can't control the sun. So
that's true. You're right.
So I guess when it gets really sharp in the summer, then what we'll actually do is we'll actually put a whitewash coat on the acrylic on the roof, and that will actually dim the amount of sunlight that we get, so that we don't burn or scorch our crops.
Yeah, that's how I started in this crazy business back in the 80s. Was working in a greenhouse, and I've put up visqueen. I've done shade spray. I've walked down gutters between the hoops.
Yeah.
You had the sleepless nights when the wind kicks up and you're not sure if it's going to hold. Yeah. That's why I do this part.
Yeah. We have a big spray boom that we actually use now, and it runs right in the gutter, and it actually just wings over the complete both sides of the greenhouse of the peak, and it just rides automatically down the gutter, and that's the way we spray our greenhouses. So,
where's the fun in that? I mean, we'd walk down that gutter 1 foot into the other like this. Don't fall.
I know. Safety, right? It's a lot different than it was way back then when we did all those fun things. So,
yeah, I don't think any of the chemical companies that we used back then are still in business.
No, that's true. And that is all, like, regulations have changed a lot in that as well. Like, even for us, like, I mean, we talk about going bio, but actually some of the hard chemicals that we used to be able to use are not even available anymore, right? The environment is so much more highlighted than it was before.
This is true. Well, Martin, again, it's been great. I'm seeing it's time for us to start wrapping it up. So again, thank you for agreeing to do this, and thank you for your time, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity to actually speak with you and to be on the show with you. This is great. So,
all right, I guess back to you, Sahid.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Mr. Andy taking over with the Bloom Show, and Martin sharing some great information about their organization. And I love the fact that we talked about a trend there that bold colors are coming. So they're preparing for that, and that's a tip of information, a little nugget of wisdom there to prepare for that, to take a look. But again, Martin and Andy, thank you so much for being on the show, dedicating your time to spreading more information, not only about your company, but also about you. It's also about getting to know the leaders in our flower industry in a more personal way. And thank you to everybody for chiming in and asking some questions. We couldn't get to some question at the end, so we apologize. I do want to mention, first, subscribe, like, share, and press the little alert key so you don't miss an episode. And it means a lot to us to understand if our show's doing well. So please make some comments. Love to hear. And another thing, a disclaimer, we apologize for the internet connection, as we've had a couple issues for the last month or two. We are working on that. We promise, be patient with us. We are working with our local internet provider to improve it and to make it optimal. And then we do want to talk about May 30th, Joost Bongart from Floral Abundance and Arnold Whitcamp from Thurs will be joining us for a Mother's Day recap, Mother's Day month recap, you want to say. So we're going with the California perspective and the Dutch perspective from two Dutch guys. So it's going to be fun. They're very fun and energetic and have great information. So we look forward to doing that. And again, that's May 30th at 1 p.m. Again, a huge thank you to Andrew and Martin for sharing your time. Thank you to everybody for joining us, for watching, for commenting, and for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Take care. Have a wonderful week and see you on the 30th.